talk rumors and coaching search updates on the Saints. But first, of the 6 coaches hired so far, what's the best one? BS for the Cowboys landing Brian Schottenheimer. PC for Pete Carroll to the Raiders. AG for the Jets hiring Aaron Glenn. MV for the first time, that was Mike Vrabel to the Patriots. Liam Coen of the Jags, type in LC. If you think it's Ben Johnson the Bears, get those BJs for me in the comment section of today's show. Let's begin by talking Steelers QB plans. Then we'll talk DK Metcalf trade rumors and talk Saints coaching search there. Steelers announcing that they don't expect to keep both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields this offseason. Art Rooney, the team owner, said, I wouldn't close the door on bringing back both, but I'd say it's probably unlikely. I think both of them probably see themselves as starters, and I don't know that they want to share the same job again next year. So I would say most likely we probably don't wind up bringing both of them back. I think that's understandable. I think that's rational. And now you got to figure out who your quarterback is. Russell Wilson is older. He was the starter for the majority of the season. At the midpoint of the year, he was playing very well. Once he took over that starting job, Russell Wilson was making plays happen. He was leading Pittsburgh to wins, all of the good things. And then down the stretch this year, when they went on that 5-game losing streak, it wasn't nearly as good. So how you figure out what you're going to do with Wilson is a huge part. What the money looks like, and at his age, that's not really a long-term option. He turns 37 next year, by the way. Justin Fields is much younger. Also kind of lost that starting job to Wilson in the middle of the season. Has better athletic ability, more mobile, still has room to grow significantly as a passer. I wouldn't even rule out the option of Pittsburgh trying something new at quarterback. Now, what that looks like, I don't know, because the free agency crop is not particularly good. Wilson and Fields are probably 2 of the better ones. You're not going to get Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders where you're picking, so you're kind of risking the Kenny Pickett path again. Dicey. Now, Art Rooney also mentioned both, or this angle on the quarterbacks here, saying they're both capable QBs. My preference would be to sign one of them. That'll be the priority, and I think that will give us the best opportunity to move forward. We've got a whole quarterback room to fill, and so there's jobs open in there. I wouldn't be surprised with the draft as well, either this year or next, and so that's got to be the priority. That plan would indicate you bring back Russell Wilson, and you keep your eyes peeled closely to a drafting of a player this year or next year. So let's say you're just any NFL team, not just tied to the Steelers organization. Who would you rather have as your starting QB? RW for Russell Wilson or JF for Justin Fields? Let me know at the pinned comment of today's show. The ad comes here on YouTube. Take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Now, there are some quarterback-needy teams out there. Tennessee does not have a franchise quarterback. The Browns obviously don't. The Giants are in the market. The Raiders, the Jets, all teams drafting top 10. With the likely outcome of, Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders going in the top 10 or even top 6, top 7, that's 5 teams. The math is not mathing, even if you force Jackson Dart or Jalen Milroe into the top 10, which I think would be a crazy idea. And with the Raiders hiring Pete Carroll, the Russell Wilson rumors to Vegas immediately emerged. This is not new. This has been mentioned every single time Russell Wilson has been on the verge of flipping teams. The Raiders have always been mentioned as a potential destination, and now it's back with the Pete Carroll hiring. Ian Rappaport of On NFL Network mentioning this. One of Carroll's good friends is still Russell Wilson, the Steelers QB. My understanding is Russell wanted to play for the Raiders last year, which did not happen. Look for that union potentially to be discussed. That certainly stands out as an option. Maybe a team like the Colts could be an option as well, or a surprise team that moves on from their quarterback if they want a veteran option there. Aiden O'Connell he's a backup. Gardner Minshew is a backup. And neither guy is truly an actual starting quarterback. And I think worse options than whatever you feel like about Russell Wilson. Now, the Raiders would also like a young QB. Shedeur Sanders stands out as an option who maybe gets them at 6. Would they trade up for the quarterback? Cam Ward, another top option in this year's draft. Neither guy has a first-round grade from me, but both guys have the upside to be at least a top 15 quarterback, maybe sooner rather than later. The Raiders, though, the draft comes after free agency. So they'd have to make up their minds pretty early in the process if they think they got a chance to get Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, which you'd have to secure a top 2 pick and a trade at minimum to know that would be your case, since you don't want to trade to 3 and have something crazy happen and teams jump in front of you. Today's show is made possible by Game Time. Game Time has a new feature. It's called Game Time Picks. It makes getting tickets for events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to only show you incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of different tickets. Always keep your eye out for the super deal, like you see on the Kendrick tickets and the Super Bowl tickets as well. It is the best value for any given event. It'll help you save the most. It's the best price for great seats. The Game Time guarantee is this: you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Download the Game Time app, create your account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Now, terms apply. But again, create your account, redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS for $20 off. The link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. It's gametime.co and promo code CHATSPORTS. Let's go to coaching search updates. The Saints, the last NFL team to not yet hire their head coach. Now, they reportedly were very interested in Aaron Glenn. They never got the chance to get him because the Jets got the first in-person interview and got that deal done within like a 30-hour span of the interview or something along those lines. The main sense of urgency right now for the Saints is to build your staff. Staffing jobs continuing to kind of go and fall into place across the NFL. And there are a couple names that stand out as head coach candidates, maybe 2 at this point. Now, Adam Schefter says Mike McCarthy is the favorite. Now, Tony Pauline, who has been hit or miss in his reporting, claimed early talks didn't go great. I will make note, as of filming, the Saints have not actually formally interviewed Mike McCarthy yet. Now, he knows Mickey Loomis pretty well. There was probably conversations on what the coaching staff looks like, but that is worth mentioning. Kellen Moore, also a top candidate for this job. The Saints flew up to Philadelphia to do an in-person interview with the Eagles OC before the Super Bowl. Of note, Kellen may or may not have pulled himself out of the Cowboys running, and the Saints would have to wait for that job. Darren Rizzi, meanwhile, the interim coach, has the backing of players. I would also point out that hiring the interim rarely actually works for an NFL team. There have been other interviews or requests. Joe Brady's pulled himself out of it. Cliff Kingsbury did not interview for the job. Saints requested him. He has pulled himself out as well. Mike Kafka, Anthony Weaver also interviewed. I know my boy Marshall Green wants the comp picks for Mike Kafka. I will make note here. I wonder if the Saints know what they want to do in terms of big picture. If they think that they can still contend, I think a ready-made coach like Mike McCarthy makes more sense. If they are willing to actually bottom out and rebuild, which they haven't done and should have done several years ago, a more inexperienced boomer bust candidate like Kellen Moore could make some more sense. We are inching closer to 400,000 subscribers here on Chat Sports. Help us get there. Free videos each and every single day on the NFL and also NBA, college football, MLB as well. Hit that sub button so you don't miss out. Let's talk DK Metcalf here. ESPN predicting the Seahawks would trade Metcalf this offseason, specifically mentioning the Chargers as a trade partner. Unfortunately, they did take the coward's way out and did not mention what the trade package would be. Jimmy Fowler writing this: the Seahawks can still get good value for him. You compare with Ladd McConkey for a good inside-outside tandem. Herbert to Metcalf would be scary. I think LA will be looking to help the quarterback in a big way. The big thing for Metcalf is the contract. You've heard me mention this stuff before, right? A massive cap hit this upcoming season for DK Metcalf. Shockingly high figure because they've pushed money off into the future, which is the way you're supposed to do it. But now it's decision time. $31.88 million cap charge. There's no way you want him to play on that deal. Now, you can extend him. That's an option. If you trade him, you save $10.88 million. The remaining contract left for DK Metcalf if a team trades for him is 1 year, $18 million. But in theory, you'd be looking at an extension for Metcalf as well. So if you were the Seahawks, What would you do with DK? Type T for trade, K for keep. Sound off for me in the comment section of today's show. I do think in general for DK Metcalf, he has plateaued. His numbers over the past 3 seasons past 4 seasons, don't really look all that different. The catches were actually identical, one less game on fewer targets, fewer yards, fewer touchdowns. He is going to get you about 1,000 yards each season. He is going to be a big vertical threat who does play a little bit finesse at times, doesn't always play up to his size, but offers big playability. But as the speed begins to decline, I do wonder how much he's going to be able to hold up at that level. Seattle has Tyler Lockett and Jackson Smith-Njigba. Jake Bobo's fun. I don't know if they trust that trio if they were to move on from DK Metcalf. And the Chargers are going to be linked to every single wide receiver this offseason. Joshua Palmer's a free agent. I do like Ladd McConkey. Quentin Johnston's back, but they don't have a true 1, or at least a good enough 1B to pair with a 1A, whether that's McConkey in the A or the B slot. I think adding a receiver makes sense for LA, but I do wonder how much interest there's going to be in Metcalf. I think a trade is possible because of the name brand, but it might not be for as much as you think.